Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. Bitcoin will become a digital source of value. How much is that worth? It is worth a lot of money, hundreds of trillions. It's really valuable. That's the Bitcoin gold rush. That's the gold rush. You see, since 99% of Bitcoin will have been mined by 2035. More banks will start to accept Bitcoin every 3 months for the next 40 months. There will be more Wall Street companies. More institutions are going to step up. There will be more businesses like Saylor Scientific. Michael Saylor starts by calling the years 2024 to 2034 the decade of digital capital. He says that capital can mean both money and a place to store value, and he stresses that Bitcoin is going to become a major place to store value. Saylor thinks that Bitcoin's value will rise into the hundreds of trillions of dollars because it will be used as digital money. People are calling the next 10 years the Bitcoin gold rush. As of 2035, 99% of Bitcoin will have been mined. This will create a supply squeeze, with only 450 Bitcoin available from buyers every day. As demand rises, prices will go up because there isn't enough supply. Saylor says that the support of institutions, government backing, and banking interests are all coming together to make the right environment for Bitcoin's growth. Saylor talks about how big businesses and institutions are becoming more interested in Bitcoin. BlackRock buying a lot of Bitcoin is one example. Hedge funds having billions of dollars in Bitcoin through ETFs are another. Also, pension funds like Wisconsin's are starting to put a lot of their money into Bitcoin, which shows that more institutions are supporting it. Take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, Bitcoin Bubble, and set your alerts to receive more videos like this. You can also watch our other videos about cryptocurrencies and digital assets in general. Please share your thoughts and comments in the part below. For the channel's growth, everything you do is very helpful for the YouTube system. Thanks, and have fun with the movie. Digital money will really grow quickly from 2024 to 2034. The years between 2024 and 2034 will be very important for digital intelligence. It must be the same thing, right? This is the decade of digital capital. I use the word capital instead of money because people sometimes ask, is that money or is that the store? Is it a way to buy and sell things or a place to keep money? I believe that Bitcoin will become the main way to keep value, which is the most important change right now. How much is digital wealth worth? It is worth a lot of money, hundreds of trillions. It's really valuable. And that's a really tough way to drive. Spot ETFs are the best thing about digital wealth. They were okayed in January of this year, by the way. There are hundreds of millions of dollars going into these things every day, and trades worth $1 billion every day. That means $350 billion worth of trades happen every year on those ETF layers in the first year, right? That will only speed things up. I also believe that the spot ETFs sped up the acceptance of digital money by businesses and institutions. And you can see that BlackRock buys hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every day. You can see that big hedge funds own $1 or $2 billion worth of Bitcoin through these ETFs that you see. And you can see that pension funds like the Wisconsin Pension Fund set aside about $170 billion to buy Bitcoin. Then they say, oh, that's 0.1% to make a difference. It needs to be 1%. Before, we were just dipping our toes in the water. But now, you should know that institutions and companies are moving at a scale that is orders of magnitude and 2 orders of magnitude bigger than it was before. That will keep going strong for another 10 years. Oh, and that's the Bitcoin gold rush. That's the gold rush. You see, since 99% of Bitcoin will have been mined by 2035. Right now is the time when there are natural buyers, because you can buy 450 Bitcoin every day from someone who wants to sell it, right? When that supply stops, the only way to get Bitcoin is to raise the price and bribe a seller into selling it. So now is the gold rush for Bitcoin because institutions, regulators, and banks are all clamoring to get in. Some have already gotten in. This week, the biggest bank in Brazil was in the news. Banco Itaú is, in fact, the biggest bank in South America, has said that their users can use the bank to buy, sell, and store Bitcoin. What if JP Morgan told all of its users, hey, you can buy, sell, and store Bitcoin with us? That's what took place in Brazil. This is how all of these things fall. More banks will start to accept Bitcoin every 3 months for the next 40 months. There will be more Wall Street companies. More institutions are going to step up. It's likely that more businesses will look like some here. MicroStrategy is going to be shown to you this week. We went out to sell bonds and started with $500 million and ended up with $700 million, so we increased our capital by $200 million in just one day. We're now going to sell bonds for $700 million and use the money to buy Bitcoin. These are big chunks of capital that are moving from analog to digital, from the 20th century to the 21st, and from the traditional to the progressive capital market. When you look at the same trend in AI, it's pretty clear that everyone will start using some kind of AI tool. Saylor thinks that AI tools will be used by everyone. First, white-collar workers will use AI helpers like Copilot from Microsoft. As AI is built into more and more goods and services, it will change every industry from graphic design to self-driving cars. Saylor talks about the practical effects of AI on the economy by comparing it to hiring robots to do jobs that people used to do. People's work will be worth less because of this change, but cash will be worth more. A company that uses AI will have an advantage over its competitors because AI can do a lot of work for a very low cost. Microsoft is going to include an AI tool like Copilot, and soon, every white-collar worker who uses Microsoft Office will be using some kind of AI Copilot. There will be 1 billion people who hear about it. After that, almost all white-collar workers will need to have it. After that, every white-collar worker will use it as a first step. The next step is for it to be built into all products. This is like having it built into Adobe. It's built into the writing, math, visual design, and other tools. After that, your car will be able to drive itself. It will be built into any real item. After that, it will be built into machines and robots. It will very much change the world, and it's hard to say how exactly it will change things, but I think you can make this one observation. The idea behind this is that computer intelligence will do a lot of work. A lot of the work that people used to do will be done by it. If an economy has 10,000 workers and capital equal to 10,000 workers, then the value of that labor will go down when I make a robot that does 10,000 person-years of work for free. The cash will become more valuable. That's why I tell people who are interested in AI to buy Bitcoin. Yes, if you work as a taxi driver, your Bitcoin will pay for your food and petrol. Yes, no matter what you're doing, if you're getting automated, and who isn't? Yes, really, what job isn't being done by AI? A part of it is going to be done automatically. Of course, you should try to rebuild your service or product to make it better with AI. Digital wealth, on the other hand, will be worth more because you can hire 10,000 AIs to do the work if you have the money. With the money in an instant. When it came to MicroStrategy, we had a lot of money. 2,000 people worked for us. If you have 2,000 workers, you need to pay them at least $300 million a year. Okay? Imagine that you could hire 2,000 AIs, but their salaries were only $300,000 a year instead of $300 million. Things are going to change. But one thing is certain, the robots will want Bitcoin as payment. The AIs can't open a bank account. They are going to use Bitcoin to buy and sell things. Yes, it's important to have digital wealth if you want to be smart about technology. All of these changes are good for Bitcoin. Yes, they make the world less stable. If you live off of analog cash, right? If you trade analog assets based on how much money they are worth, your business and job will be thrown off. You need to figure out a way to get to the digital market. To make a living, you should do things that robots, companies, and AIs can do. You need to get into the digital market, be on top of it, or be ahead of it before it comes. Saylor thinks that robotics and Bitcoin will work well together. As AI is used more in business, more people will want to buy digital currencies like